We have Bill Smith from Madison, National Federation of Independent Businesses, NFIB, speaking in favor. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the committee. I know it's been a long day, so I promise to be brief. If you're brief, I'll also be brief. I know you had a lot of questions earlier. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and to appear before this Assembly Committee on Campaigns and Elections and to share with you NFIB's support for the adoption of Assembly Joint Resolution 81. My name is Bill G. Smith, and I'm the State Director for the Wisconsin chapter of the National Federation of Independent Business. The NFIB for over 70 years has been the voice of small business, working hard in all 50 states and in our nation's capital to protect and to promote the right of our members to own, to operate, and to grow their business. We have about 12,000 members here in Wisconsin and a little over 350,000 nationwide. Historically, the small business community has always supported a balanced federal budget. In fact, when we look back over the years, in the 1984 Small Business National Issues Conference, among the recommendations, one of the top recommendations was a balanced federal budget as determined by the small business owners themselves. Then in 1986, once again, the White House Conference on Small Business, once again, balancing the federal budget was among the top recommendations of that conference as well, determined by small business owners themselves. Yet here we are on January 23rd, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, with a national debt that exceeds $17 trillion, annual deficits in the hundreds of billions of dollars projected into the future, with China holding more than $1.3 trillion of our debt. Current fiscal policies are putting our children's futures at risk and putting all Americans, as Representative Kapenga indicated, at the mercy of lenders who may not have our nation's best interest on their agenda. The federal debt now exceeds or equals 73% of the U.S. economic output, and the Congressional Budget Office expects continued growth in that debt as federal and Social Security expenditures continue to climb. Short-term solutions that may avoid government shutdowns but raise the national debt are not sound economic policies. They do not address the national deficit, and they do not provide an environment for confidence and the certainty that is urgently needed for our growing economy and creating opportunity for all our citizens. There are those concerned about the impact that a balanced budget requirement might have on our social programs and on the ability of government to provide a safety net for our most vulnerable citizens. But I remind members of the committee that any social safety net is only ultimately possible through responsible budgeting that provides the necessary funding to maintain that safety net. The inability to budget properly and responsibly is as much a danger to the long-term viability of these programs as it is to anything else that government provides our citizens. It is time for the states and their citizens to use the powers provided by our founding fathers. Small business owners are frustrated with the failure of the federal government to address basic budgeting principles that every citizen and small business owner must adhere to every day. In fact, our small business owners will broadcast it with bumper stickers all around the state. I have to balance my budget. Why doesn't Washington? Small business owners have long supported a balanced federal budget. A recent NFIB member survey indicates 90% of small business owners back a balanced budget amendment to the United States Constitution. Now, in the past, we've carried the balanced budget message directly to Congress, urging them to take action. But today, we are stepping up our support for a balanced federal budget, driven by the urgency to act due to the dramatic growth in the federal deficit, the inability of the Congress to find some resolution, the erosion of confidence in and respect for America and its economy, and the threat of economic uncertainty that clouds the future of our lives and the lives of our children. So as we endorse Assembly Joint Resolution 81, we ask members of this committee and the legislature to act promptly and to support the adoption of this important resolution. With that, Madam Chair, I'll conclude my remarks, and I do have a written copy, and bumper stickers.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Representative Craig.
Just real quickly, Mr. Smith, what percent of your members are mom and pop shops? 1, 2, 3, 4, less than 10 employees?
Representative Craig, a majority of our members have fewer than 10 employees, and I think it's about 81 or 82% have fewer than 20.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Representative Zamaripa.
Thank you for your testimony today.
Thank you.
And I probably should have posed this to Representative Kapinga, but I'm wondering if any other states have passed a resolution like this to date that you know of.
I believe 20 have I think Ohio just did it, and Michigan
So we're well on
has
our,
passed as well.
so,
We would be 21, I believe. But
okay, so 20 states have passed an
That's
AG
my,
similar to
I
this.
believe that's correct.
Thank you.
He's correct.
Welcome.
And how many do you need? I'm sorry, Madam Chair, for speaking out of order. 34.
Well, we need 34 to call a convention, 38 to ratify. Okay. Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
testimony.
Thank you.